Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva. Nate Diaz versus KHAMZAT Chimaev. It all goes down this Saturday. Let's check it out. All right, what's going on, everybody? This your boy CeeLo, and we're back at it again for another UFC card. UFC 279, Chimaev versus Diaz. And I know everybody's question's the same. Will Diaz outlast Chimaev? Will Chimaev get him out of there early? You know, I guess we'll have to wait and see this Saturday. We've been a little spoiled with these past pay-per-view cards and the upcoming pay-per-view cards. But no title fight in this one. But sure, it's going to be a banger in that main event. But before we get into all that, help me out with a big thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel. Follow my Instagram at CeeLo Studios Presents. That's where we're chopping it up about these fights. Going back and forth with the fight picks, and it doesn't get any better than that. I love the community. I love all the love and support we've been getting. But without further ado, let's get right into these picks, man. So for pick number one, we're moving down to the welterweight division, or should I call this the catchweight division. Dana White has criticized fighters for wanting to do catchweight bouts, and he's not one to approve these catchweight bouts, or he's not one to put on these catchweight bouts. He doesn't want to have any other divisions, or at least he's been pretty outspoken about that. But he knew he had to have this fight on this card. Kevin Holland always comes to bang, big mouth, now he's trailblazer, but he's always putting exciting fights. And who's on the other side of that octagon? D-Rod Rodriguez, another man that's always here to fight, always here to bang, and never afraid to stand and bang as the reason why he became a crowd favorite. But let's get into this tale of the tape. Kevin Holland, the favorite here, and D-Rod coming back at plus money. But the big factor here is the reach advantage that Kevin Holland holds, which is 90 to 100% of the time. 81 reach advantage, and D-Rod coming back at 74-inch reach advantage. So D-Rod, what does he need to do to win this fight? Grapple, clinch, get inside and try to use his dirty boxing. Possibly take Kevin Holland down. But will that happen? I do not think so. I do think D-Rod is going to be here to stand and bang with Kevin Holland. Again, people's main event, at least in my eyes. And Kevin Holland, we've seen his takedown defense improve, and we've seen that he's really been that's been a key factor in his camps. We saw that with the Cowboy Oliveira. He gave up that takedown, and he was pretty bummed about that. And I do believe he's gotten way better at that, but I don't think they're gonna have to use any takedown defense or takedown, fighting from his back or anything like that. It could happen. It could happen if D-Rod fights a good game plan and he knows how Kevin Holland has lost in the UFC. So be it. It has been to bigger fighters and the middleweight fighters, and with much better wrestling accolades than D-Rod has. But that's neither here nor there. Saturday night we'll be meeting at 180 pounds, and we're gonna roll with Mr. Kevin Holland, the Texas boy. We've been criticized for always siding with our Mexican fighters, our Mexican American fighters, but hey, we're just gonna add another one to the list. We're always gonna be supporting our Texas boys, and Kevin Holland gonna get it done for us this weekend. And hopefully he can finish D-Rod, but I do see this going to a decision, and hopefully we can cash Mr. Kevin Holland's ticket. Again, pick number one, Kevin Trailblazer Holland to outstrike D-Rod Rodriguez. Hopefully put him out, get him out of there inside the distance. But we'll take the win, straight money line for Mr. Kevin Holland. And moving right along, we're moving to the featherweight division. We got Hakeem, Dawadu, and Julian Juicy J Erosa. Right off the bat, Julian Erosa, the more experienced fighter, 27-9, yet he's a slight underdog, a slightly older fighter, bigger body for the featherweight division. And we got Dawadu as a minus 225 favorite. That line is a little wide, but let's get right into this tale of the tape here. Again, Dawadu, the slightly younger fighter, the slightly smaller body for the featherweight division. But what does Dawadu want to do? He wants to kickbox. He wants to keep you at range. He wants to outstrike you. And what does Julian Juicy J. Erosa want to do? He has submissions under his belt. He's gritty. He's tough. He comes to fight all the time. So this is why I tend to say that this line is a little wide for me. But nevertheless, the pick here is going to be Hakeem Dawadu. Hakeem Dawadu, I do believe in his last 5 fights, you have seen that he lost once and was to a stud. Movsar Evlev is no joke. He's a future contender in my opinion. And, if you rewatch that fight, Hakeem Dawadu was getting ragdolled for 2 rounds. And I do believe that's what Juicy J needs to do. Julian Erosa needs to try and clinch him, keep his back, keep Dawadu's back against the cage, have him move backwards. Don't let Dawadu implement his game plan. But I do think Dawadu has learned from that loss. And it was a win for his camp, I believe, because in that 3rd round, Dawadu had him hurt. Dawadu had Evlev hurt, and he did win that 3rd round. So, again, it's all if he took that loss as a learning curve for his career, which I do believe he did, because against Trezano, Trezano clearly didn't want to grapple with him, but he did exchange in some takedowns and some clinch strikes, and Dawadu, looked good. He looked good against a bigger body, which he is going to face again here against Julian Erosa. Mike Trezano, no joke. And Dawadu got it done, and, pretty convincingly, in my opinion. So, again, guys, we're going to go with Hakeem Dawadu to get the win for us this weekend. That's going to be pick number 2 for CeeLo Studios, and let's keep it moving. And moving right along to pick number 3, we're moving to the bantamweight in the women's division. We have Irene, Aldana, and Macy Chiasson fighting in at bantamweight. You heard that correctly. Macy Chiasson has been fighting at featherweight, but she's coming back down to bantamweight. She has fought at bantamweight before, so she's going to test the waters here against Aldana, the favorite in this matchup. Chiasson coming in as plus money, and the bigger fighter, 5'11". 72-inch reach advantage, and Irene Aldana coming back at 5'9" with a 68.5 reach advantage. So what's the game plan here for Chiasson? Chiasson is going to want to look to, put Aldana on her back foot, put her against the cage, have her defend takedowns, have her use her hands, hand fighting for grappling exchanges. And what does Irene Aldana wants to do? Land a left hook, land a right hook, hit you with those jabs, hit you with those straights, and put you away. And that's gonna be the X factor for me here. Aldana is gonna be the more powerful striker, the more crisper striker, and I do think that she's gonna catch Chiasson on her way in. Chiasson coming forward at you, kind of just bull rushing you towards the cage, and that force plus Irene Aldana's hooks is going to be the difference here. I do believe early on Aldana will clip her with 1 or 2 shots, and Chiasson is not going to, her game plan is going to go out the window, and she's going to feel the power. She's going to feel the power that Aldana possesses, just as Caitlin Vieira did, just as Yana Kunitskaya did, and it's going to be another win for the Mexican fighter here. We're sticking with our Mexican streak, our Mexican fighters winning streak. Irene Aldana is pick number 3 for CeeLo Studios here. And, we're cashing again. Week after week, our Mexican fighters picks have been cashing. I don't see this going any other direction other than if the judges see or think that Chiasson is clearly winning the fight by holding Aldana against the fence or having Aldana defend takedowns. And but we've seen it before. We've seen Holly Holm, Caitlin Vieira, that whole debacle where the judges saw Caitlin Vieira winning, even though Holly Holm was clearly the one controlling the fight or controlling in the clinch, and that clinch control time just they threw it out the window. So again, the difference here is Aldana, her power. She does have slightly more experience, in my opinion, fought the tougher competition at bantamweight, but I do believe she's fought the tougher competition here. And, again, from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, just another Mexican fighter pick that we're just going to be cashing left and right, up and down, however you want to call it. But for pick number 3, we're going with Irene Aldana to get it done for us this weekend. And there you have it, everybody. 3 picks for UFC 279 Chimaev versus Diaz. You know, a lot of people think Diaz can pull this off in the later rounds, but you know, Chimaev is a -1,000, -2,000 favorite by this point. I have not even seen that line. You know, a lot of people putting in those bets for the props for the later rounds for Diaz to get it done. But it wouldn't be surprising to me. You know, Diaz is still the dog, man. He's still the man. But Chimaev, man, he's the future of the UFC. He's going to be here for years to come, years and years to come. You know, 11 fights in, and we can see here Diaz, 33 fights, 33 professional fights, and most of them in the UFC. You know, you can't count that out. But let me know what you guys think about that fight. You know, does Diaz get it done? Does Chimaev for sure get it done? You know, go down to my Instagram at Silo Studios Presents. That's where we're always having this conversation. Comment down below here on the YouTube channel, and let's run through this card really quick. You know, let's point out some of these fights that we got going on. You know, the curtain jerker here. We have Johan Lainez, the Canadian prospect. You know, the Mr. KO himself. You know, he has a couple knockouts in that record. And, you know, they gave him Darian Weeks, poor Darian Weeks. You know, he's had nothing but tough competition in the UFC, but that's the way it is here, man. We're moving down to Elise Reed and Melissa Martinez. Let me tell you guys something about Melissa Martinez. She comes, again, I've seen her fight in the regional scene. There's a promotion that I really like to watch on Fridays. It's called Combate Global. And, you know, they hold some nice fights there. You know, it's very amateur-esque, you know, low-level MMA. But sometimes, you know, we have some great fights on that card. And Melissa Martinez, the one thing I've learned from her is, you know, her family's been doing MMA. Her brother's been doing is involved in MMA. Her dad's her coach. So even though she has been away from the fight game, she has been doing kickboxing tournaments, you know, even became a champ in kickboxing. So keep that in mind when you guys want to, you know, if you guys have any action in this fight. I'm keeping a close eye on the line and or see what's going on there, because Elise Reed, clearly the more UFC experienced fighter. But, you know, Melissa Martinez with that perfect record, and if she fights her game plan, can, you know, they can do something with that. So moving right along, we have Norma Dumont and Danielle Wolf, another, you know, strange women's MMA fight there. I'm not gonna get it right. Not gonna get too technical with that one. You know, Jake Collier, Chris Barnett, nothing technical about that. Jamie Pickett, Danis Chiolulin. This is gonna be an interesting fight for me. Again, keeping a close eye on the lines, because that fight, we might have some action on that. Stay tuned for at Silo Studios Presents on Instagram. See what we got there. Dalton Almeida, same thing as the main event. You know, just a heavy favorite against Anton Turkaj. Not much as far as bets go there. Hakeem Dawadu, one of our picks. You know, Johnny Walker, Ion Kuchalaba. Man, 2 big light heavyweights with power. You know, might as well be heavyweights. You know, that's pretty much the lines that you know, for inside the distance are pretty much like a heavyweight fight. You know, we have Irene, Aldana, another one of our picks. Kevin Holland, D-Rod, the people's main event. You know, my main event. Super stoked about that one. Can never go wrong with the Kevin Holland fight. And then we have Jingling Yang, the Leech, and Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson back up at welterweight. You know, different camp. You guys know the story. And the Leech, you guys know he comes to fight. You guys know he former victim of KHAMZAT Chimaev. And, you know, hopefully Tony Ferguson can show us something. You know, it shows that he still has a will to fight, you know, and or, you know, we might have a Luke Rockhold in our hands where he just, you know, gives it his all and, you know, ends up retiring or anything like that. Hope it doesn't happen, but, you know, it can happen. And obviously the main event, KHAMZAT Chimaev and Nate Diaz. Again, does Diaz get it done in the later rounds? Does he get it done in the first round? You know, you never know. Nothing surprises me about Nate Diaz. All I do know is it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good Saturday night for everybody. And again, 3 picks for you in this video, and I will be adding more later this week on my Instagram page at Silo Studios Presents, where we're always chopping it up about the fights. And again, always enjoy the love and support. Enjoy the fights this Saturday, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.